Stakeholders have called for the exemption of the Nigeria Police Force from the Contributory Pension Scheme (CPS). They made the call during a public hearing on the two pension bills: the bill for an act to amend the Pension Reform Act 2014 to provide for exemption of Nigerian Police Force from the Contributory Pension Scheme and for related matters, and a bill for an act to amend sections 1C, 7, Chapter 2, 8, Chapter 1, 18, 24 and 99 of the Pension Reform Act Cap P50 LFN 2014 by providing a pensioner shall receive at least 75% of his retirement benefits immediately upon retirement and criminalize the undue payment, delaying the payment of pensions and related matters. Speaking at the public hearing, which was organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Pensions, sponsor of the bill, Honorable Francis Waive from Delta State, said operating under the current pension scheme has been both unpalatable and regrettable for retirees of the Nigerian Police Force. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives correspondent Linda Ike reports stressed the need for police to be exempted from the scheme, just like the armed forces and the Department of State Services, especially in these days of insecurity across the nation. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Khali Baba, who was represented by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Sanusi Lemo, lamented the unpleasant experiences of retired police officers under the present scheme, which has the tendency to demotivate officers and serve as incentive for corrupt practices.
Honorable members, this is our third time coming to this house for this same purpose of the attempt to remove the police. And we have these basic questions. What has changed? Where will the money to fund the defined benefit scheme for exempted officers come from? Will it still be funded from national budget that is currently hardly sufficient to fund other commitments of government, including healthcare and social security? What has changed in the management of the defined benefit scheme, especially in the light of the new arrests, convictions of individuals involved in the mismanagement of pensions?
The Nigerian contributory pension scheme was designed after the Chilean experience, where the military and the police were exempted. But in our case, when the law was enacted, somehow the police was left out of it. And I thought this was not good enough, judging from the fact that the police, they carry a lot of the burden, in fact, most of the burden of law enforcement in the country. And in a period where there is insecurity across the country, the police needs all the encouragement to be able to do their job effectively. Towards this end, I also considered the take-home after retirement comparatively between police and other security agencies. For instance, a DSP goes home with 2.5, and an Army, I beg your pardon, a DSP 2.5, ASP 1.5, whereas an Army captain or a DSS equivalent goes home with 12.8 million and 10.3 million respectively.
The second part of the second bill is saying late payment should be criminalized. A fine of X amount should be imposed, jail term or both. This also is coming from a position of misunderstanding, because the truth is the operators can only pay when government gives them money. So if they don't pay, you cannot send them to jail, sir, because they cannot pay what they don't have. So to criminalize them does not even arise. But most important, we should note that the only people who experience delay in payment are those with accrued rights issues.
The unpleasant experiences of retired police officers under the present scheme has a tendency to demotivate officers and men, and also serve as incentive for corrupt practices in a bid to avert similar fate upon eventual retirement. In the light of the above, it is evident that there is a compelling need to review the pension regime governing the Nigerian police force.